Welcome to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper, and tonight we attend a lecture given by Phillip Marsh of the Pilot Connection.
Okay, this sort of began at the beginning. Well, this is a 1040 instruction booklet from 1986. Okay. Way back on page 48. They have something called the Privacy Act and Paperwork Reduction Act notice. So there's several interesting things. First of all, right here in the bottom of the first paragraph, it says whether your response is voluntary, required to receive a benefit, or mandatory under the law. Why would the IRS, if they're so fierce as most people think, get within 6 miles of that word voluntary? The answer is the tax is voluntary, as you're going to see over the next few minutes. Over here it says, when you file, you must give us your Social Security number. Now, let's find out why they want your Social Security number. Here's a letter signed by Bill Casparty, who is the current Social Security Administrator. And she says in the last paragraph there, to paraphrase a little bit, hey, fellas, we don't have any authority to require an employer to request a Social Security number as a condition of employment. This is between you and the employer. Well, wonder why they have such a law, why they need the Social Security number. Let's turn over to the next page and we'll find out. Here's a letter from someone in the Social Security Administration written to this fellow in South Dakota. And it says in the first paragraph up there that Social Security is a voluntary number. Most people didn't know that, but that is what the law states. Down around the fourth paragraph says, however, a person having no Social Security number would have no taxable income. Now, if you've ever looked at any documents you've seen from the IRS, up in the upper right-hand corner, they always have a block of information. It'll say taxpayer number and your Social Security number. I'll show you how that works. Carl, what's your first name? Carl, suppose I said to you, how would you like to have $1 million? And you say, who do I have to kill? Well, nobody, just sign this piece of paper. And you look at it, it's blank, right? So that seems agreeable to you, so you go ahead and sign the paper and give you $1 million. 3 days later, I come around and say, where's your wife? And you say, what do you mean, where's my wife? Well, you sold her to me 3 days ago for $1 million. You say, I did like hell. I signed a blank piece of paper. Now, whip out the paper and say, is this your signature? Of course it is. And type right in above there is that you sold me your wife 3 days ago for $1 million, and today's the day I collect. That is what's known as fraud and inducement. In other words, I didn't tell you the whole truth up front. When they told you that you had to have a Social Security number to go to work, that was a bald-faced lie, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When they told you Social Security was going to take care of you in your old age, that was another bald-faced lie. People who are drawing Social Security today can't even afford dog food anymore. It's too expensive. It's that bad. And so it doesn't take care of you. But what did it do? Made you a taxpayer the rest of your life. That's fraud. There is a very solid law that says fraud vitiates the most solemn promise to pay. So when they defrauded you, they also cut their own throat. Let's look at 1988 1040 instruction booklet. We'll find something interesting. Privacy Act has been moved from page 48 up to page 1. And in 1989, same story. I wonder why. The answer is that they've been caught with their hand in a cookie jar. And their only defense is, we told you it's voluntary. This is an official IRS publication, beat up as it is. We do have nice new copies of it for you. But I use this one because it proves the point. That is, I've been doing this for 8 years. And it looks at
at least 8 years old.
Yeah. It's called the Illegal Tax Protester Training. This is an instruction booklet for IRS agents, okay? And what's your first name?
Ryan.
Ryan? Ryan, you want to tell us what it says right there?
Department of the Treasury, IRS.
Do you see United States there? The word United States?
No.
Because they're not. The Department of the Treasury of R.E. Harrington Incorporated, a private English insurance company. We're going to be showing you their incorporation papers before the day's out. And if they told you that up here, obviously you wouldn't kowtow to them, right? Carl, let's see what their official position is here. Start with the word these and tell us what that one sentence says.
These individuals and groups are attempting to disrupt effective tax administration, present a major danger to our voluntary compliance.
Did I say voluntary or did the IRS? Yeah. What is an illegal tax protester? They say it's somebody who fills out a return and doesn't pay all the taxes for whatever reason. I even happen to agree with them on that. If I sign you up to play football for the 49ers and you come out in your Oakland A's uniform with all the baseball rules in your head, we're going to have a problem, right?
Yeah.
All right, if you and I sit down and play Monopoly and you want to insist on playing by general army rules, we're going to have a problem. So, yeah, if you're going to file tax returns, play by the rules. The people in here did not play by the rules. They used excuses like vow poverty through church, didn't want to pay for abortions, didn't want to pay for military, all this kind of stuff. And then just didn't pay all their taxes. That's not fair. That's not playing the game by the rules. And I don't blame the IRS for being unhappy about that. Okay? Or anybody else for that matter. Whatever you do, you play by the rules, right? Now, Ronnie, I have some real bad news for you. Did you know that there's a law against wearing washed blue jeans in San Jose on a Wednesday morning? You didn't know that? Supposing I showed it to you in a legal law book, however, and it was written there, would I have to threaten, force, or coerce you, or would you simply know you broke the law?
I would probably know I broke it.
Right. No. My point, that's a silly point, but the point is to emphasize this next thing we're coming to. This is instructions to the IRS agents, and it's about stop filers and non-filers. This is the place to tell them what law a person is breaking by stopping filing or not filing. Now, you want to read those 3 paragraphs for us and tell us what law we're breaking here?
These schemes involve individuals who have never filed an income tax return and simply stop filing. These protesters are the most difficult to identify since they do not draw attention to themselves by sending in protest letters and not acceptable returns. In some areas of the country, stop filers and non-filers are becoming more common. Many known illegal tax protesters just have stopped filing any kind of return. Unless the individual is known to the service employee, it is extremely difficult to determine if the taxpayer is an illegal tax protester.
I know that your name's Ronnie. I know you got blonde hair, a purple sweater, blue jeans, and athletic shoes on, okay? Is there any law against any of that?
No.
Not that I'm aware of. So it was known to someone in the service. For what? What law are they breaking? If you're breaking a law, that's a whole different ballgame. Carl, it says here questioning your authority. You want to read just that first line for us?
Question your authority. Identify yourself by showing your credentials. State your appropriate authority.
IRC.
Okay, IRC 6331 to levy and seize.
That's
and
right.
IRC 7602 to examine books and work.
Yeah. So they're telling them that IRC 6331 is their power to levy, right? IRC is Internal Revenue Code. So let's get into section 6331 and see what it says. Right. Again, this is an 8-year-old book, but the new ones say exactly the same thing. Start with the word levy and get that one sentence for us, should we please?
Levy day may gain upon the accrued salary or wages of any officer, employee, or elected official of the United States of the district of Columbia or any agency or instrumentally the United States or District of Columbia.
Does that sound like you?
That's the thing for the government.
So government employees, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, there's a little bit of history you need to know here before we get into the rest of this book. First of all, back in 1775, they had 13 colonies in this country, okay? And these colonies banded together for the common defense and so forth. First with the Confederation, which didn't work too hot, and then went to the Constitution, which meant that each colony gave up a little bit of its jurisdiction to form this small central federal government, which was empowered. The federal government was empowered to provide for the common defense, nothing wrong with that, to try people for treason, nothing wrong with that, to try people for piracy on the high seas, nothing wrong with that, to try them for counterfeiting, nothing wrong with that. But that's all the power they were given. Now, to make sure that the federal government wasn't influenced by one of the states unduly, rather than have them have their seat of government in a state, they decided to get their own property, which they could control. So they gave them Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, I want to get this jurisdiction thing clear in your head. Carl, you own a car, right? Supposing, and do you have jurisdiction over that car? Control?
Yeah.
Okay. Supposing you were kind enough to lend me your car to go to the grocery store and back. Who would have jurisdiction over that car while it's going back and forth to the grocery store?
You would.
Yeah. And when I gave you the car back, you still have the majority jurisdiction, right? So that's what the states did. They gave up a little bit of their jurisdiction to this small central federal government for these purposes that I just mentioned, and no more. Now, my next question is this. Where in the heck does this small central federal government get off coming in here and telling the citizens of the state of California it owes them any taxes? It's ridiculous on its face, let alone highly illegal. Okay? And the only way they even attempt to attach anything is what we call color of law. Okay? Policemen wear blue shirts. I'm wearing a blue shirt, therefore you better do what I tell you. Okay? I didn't say I was a policeman today, but that's color of law. That was almost law, but not quite. Okay. Another thing you need to know before we get into this next section is about sedition by syntax. Sedition means stealing government power under the table, surreptitiously, not openly with military force, okay? And how they do this? By syntax. What is syntax? That means making you believe all your life that a word means something, and then turning around and giving it a legal definition that means something entirely different. So that when you read that word, you think you know what you're reading, but you're not reading what you think you're reading. Now, I'll give you an example of that where it'll confuse you. Carl, can you tell me what a driver is?
A driver?
Mm-hmm.
Person who drives an automobile.
Mm-hmm. Honey, the state of California even agrees with you. In the Motor Vehicle Code, it says a driver is one who drives, in Section 305. Now, my 5th grade English teacher told me never to define a word with a word. So I was curious to know what the heck is a driver. So I went to Black's Law Dictionary, which is the dictionary that the legal eagles use when they make up these definitions. And it says in there that a driver is one who operates a motor coach and a whole bunch of stuff, whether employed by himself or employed by the owner. Employed? Come on, that's commercial, isn't it? Right. Then, if you look at the Motor Vehicle Code carefully, you'll see it's constantly referring to Uniform Commercial Codes, the Business and Professional Codes, the Revenue and Taxation Codes, all of which are commercial in nature, totally. So I went to the Revenue and Taxation Codes, and in Section 9303 I found something very interesting. Operator includes somebody who hauls passengers or freight on the highway for hire. At 9303.3, operator excludes someone who hauls passengers on the freight or freight on the highway as long as it's not for hire. That's me. So I am not an operator. It also tells me in there that operator has to pay 3% of his gross receipts. It also tells me an operator has to have a driver's license. I even agree with that one. But I'm not an operator, and I don't need a driver's license. Okay. That's the big argument I got with the state right now. All those court cases are all over that issue. And I'm winning it, believe it or not. So anyway, that's sedition by syntax. See how it operates.